Here is the weirdest thing about modern life. We are the most connected humans who have ever existed, and somehow none of us are ever fully here. Before we do the fake goldfish attention span stat, let's spin it. The problem is not that humans suddenly forgot how to focus. The problem is most of what we are asked to focus on is just too shallow to deserve us. A phone does not ask for your attention. It asks for slices of it. 3 seconds here, 12 seconds there, a notification, a message, an email, a thing you open for no reason, and now apparently it's 40 minutes later. A motorcycle, however, is different. A motorcycle does not want a slice of you. It wants the whole thing. Your eyes, your hands, your balance, your judgment, your sense of speed, your ability to look through a corner and trust your body will follow. So I want to make a slightly ridiculous argument. In a world where everyone is trying to sell you tranquility through another app, another subscription, motorcycling might be one of the last modern activities that focuses on a real meditative state. Not because it's peaceful, but because it's too demanding to let your brain be anywhere else. Look at the average day now. You wake up and your phone is already running the show. Messages, emails, news, group chats, work pings, Instagram and TikTok. A reminder from an app you downloaded to stop using apps. One recent study puts phone checking at around 144 times a day. A Harvard study found that people spend 49% of their waking hours thinking about something other than what they're doing. Research on interrupted work found that people often return to the original task much later, around 23 minutes on average. And no, that does not mean every WhatsApp costs you exactly 23 minutes, like some kind of cursed productivity tax, but it does show there's a bigger problem here. Modern life keeps pulling your mind out of the thing you were doing before you ever get deep enough to be in it. We call this convenience, but really it's 1,000 tiny claims on your nervous system. And AI has just made the feed stranger. It's no longer just a feed of things other people made. It's becoming a real time slot machine generated around whatever keeps you there one more swipe. You are not browsing, you are being served. That is why so much modern burnout does not feel like hard work. It feels like being lightly electrocuted by everything, all of the time. And then the wellness industry comes along and says, don't worry about it, we fixed it. Here's an app on the phone that's just caused the problem. Please open it twice a day and breathe near a gradient. And I'm not anti-meditation. Meditation's great, yoga's great, running is great, cold water, journaling, whatever gets you out of your head. But for a lot of people, the problem is not knowing that mindfulness exists. I think we all know that. The problem is doing it consistently when the same device that hosts the solution is also the casino. So maybe the answer is not less input. Maybe the answer is better input. This is where the flow state comes in. Mahale Csikszentmihalyi, some guy, which is a name that looks like someone who dropped a toolbox onto a keyboard, spent decades studying peak human experience. He found that people are often happiest not when they are doing nothing, but when they are completely absorbed in something. That state is called flow. Flow is when the task has clear goals, immediate feedback, and just the right balance between challenge and skill. Not so easy that you get bored, not so hard that you panic. Right on the edge of what you can do. Time distorts, the inner critic shuts up, you stop narrating yourself to yourself. You're just doing the thing, fully locked in. And that is the key difference between relaxation and flow. Relaxation removes demand. Flow gives your brain demand worthy of its full capacity, and it feels good. Most digital life does the opposite. It gives you partial stimulation, enough to keep you looking, not enough to fully engage you. You are never satisfied, but you are never free either. Now think about riding a motorcycle. Every corner has a goal. Entry, line, apex, exit. Look where you want to go. Get your speed sorted, pick up the throttle, let the bike breathe. Every input gives your feedback immediately. Too tense on the bars, the bike feels nervous. Sharp on the throttle, it tells you. Brake badly, look badly, sit badly. The machine has an opinion instantly. There is no loading symbol, no algorithm, and no meeting invite that ruins your will to live. Just action and consequence. Then there is the challenge and skill balance. A good road is not relaxing because it's easy, it is relaxing because it is exactly difficult enough. A sequence of bends, changing grip, a van appearing around a hedge, a wet patch under the trees, a camber you did not expect. You are constantly adjusting, not in a panicked way if you are riding properly, in a locked in way. And this is where motorcycling becomes different from almost every other hobby. Every other flow activity has a loophole. You can run whilst listening to a podcast, you can cook whilst watching YouTube, you can go to the gym and spend half the session answering messages in between sets. resets, and we're all guilty of that. A motorcycle has no loophole. You cannot check your phone mid-corner. You cannot half-ride. You cannot open a second tab in your brain and start wondering if your ex has watched your story. The moment your attention leaves, the bike tells you. That sounds intense, because it is, but that is also why it works. And why it's awesome. Motorcycling does not ask you to be mindful, it makes presence a safety requirement. And weirdly, in today's world, that kind of feels like relief, because for once, your brain is not being split between 20 meaningless demands. It has just one job: ride the bike. That is why riders talk about a 2-hour ride feeling like 20 minutes. It's why you can leave the house tangled up in work stress, money stress, relationship stress, general background existential soup, and come back feeling like someone who cleaned the inside of your skull with brake cleaner. Not cured, not fixed, just reset. Then there is the sensory side, which is harder to explain if you've never ridden a bike. The moment the visor comes down, the world changes. Not silence exactly, more like the noise becomes single purpose. Wind, engine, tyres breathing, the little mechanical sounds that tell you the bike is alive. Your body starts reading things your phone has no language for. The weight of the throttle, the friction point of the clutch, pressure through the pegs, the bars going light or heavy, the temperature dropping in a shaded corner, the road surface changing from smooth to sketchy, to why does Sussex hate my suspension? This is not metaphorical immersion, it's literal. Vision, balance, touch, hearing and body position, all of it switched on, all at once. There was a UCLA Institute study commissioned by Harley-Davidson given, which found that riding was associated with increased focus and a decrease in stress marker changes. That does not mean motorcycles are medicine. It does mean the thing riders have been describing for years is also not made up. It really does seem to do something for you. This is the important bit though. None of this is an argument for riding like an idiot. Motorcycling has risk, obviously. Pretending otherwise would be insane. But risk is also part of why it demands attention. The answer is not to worship danger. The answer is to manage it properly. Training, gear, conditions, road positioning, riding within yourself, building skill instead of cosplaying confidence. The point is not that bikes are safe because they make you focus. The point is that managed risk creates a type of attention modern life rarely asks from any of us. And if you're thinking, this sounds expensive, complicated, too much, that is just another myth. You do not have to become a leather-clad motorway philosopher by Friday. So, how do I get a slice of all of this? In the UK, the first step can simply be a CBT course. It's 1 day of basic training with an instructor and a small bike, controlled environment, and if you complete it, you can then ride a 125 motorcycle on L plates for up to 2 years on the roads. And that is not a life sentence, that is a doorway. And that is why RideTo exists. You can compare local training instructors, look at dates, see prices, and book the first step without disappearing into a license forum quicksand. Because the real question is not, am I ready to become a motorcyclist forever? The question is, am I curious enough to spend 1 day finding out? We have built an entire wellness industry around the idea that the solution to overstimulation is understimulation. Less noise, less input, less engagement. Well, I think the human brain doesn't really want less. I think it wants better. A notification feed is not worthy of your full attention. A technical corner on a good road is. So if you've been looking for a way to switch off, not by going numb, but by finally giving your brain one thing worth doing, or maybe try the thing that riders have been failing to explain for years. It is not therapy, it is not meditation, it is a Tuesday evening on a B road with nowhere to be. And it works wonders. Ladies and gentlemen, come and join the motorcycling revolution. And that is the psychology of someone who rides a motorcycle despite the dangers. See you out there, ride safe.